Hi. Sometimes have that not so fresh feeling? Sometimes feel like that you can't perform to your fullest? Feel that there is a reality that coexists with yours? Do you suffer from an overwhelming sense of dread brought on by the realization of your own insignificance in the universe? If the answer is yes to any of those, then you need Elder Sign. And what exactly is Elder Sign? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's take a look at Elder Sign, and I will show you why Elder Sign might be just right for you. Alright, let's take a look at some components here. Okay, we're going to start with the heroes of the game. Just like in Arkham Horror, you're going to have different characters. This is Joe Diamond, and the way they work is these are the ones you draw from your starting items. This is your special abilities, like him hunches. After Joe spends a clue token, he may re-roll the die a second time without spending an additional clue token. So he gets to re-roll dice twice if he fails. Your sanity and your health, and each character is different, has different starting equipment and benefits. So picking the right person could help make the game good or bad for you, and also depending on the thing. So yeah, you got all the different characters in Arkham Horror, your basic, a lot of the classics. Okay. And then next, you have the stuff you make up the monster cup with. And these are just the monsters. This one is a mask monster. These only get used if a certain monster is in there. And you basically draw them, and these are the special text on the back. It says, "Hound of Tantalus, when within estrangements a horde shape in the center." That's how many. This number 2 here represents how much trophies points it's worth. And if you look closer here, this is the monster which you're facing. This means a yellow die will be locked, so you can't be used. You have to advance the clock 3, and you have to get that on dice in order to defeat this monster. So essentially, each monster has different stats. They're worth different trophy amount of points and stuff like that. Now let's look at the creatures, the mythos creatures here. Cthulhu, I'm pronouncing it. Azathoth. We're going to start with Azathoth because he's probably the easiest one to deal with. Because basically, once he comes out, game's over. So, in order to understand how this works, is these are the Doom token tracks. This works just like Arkham Horror. When you're supposed to add a Doom token to it, you add a Doom token to it. This symbol right here means you put every time when you go to here, you have to put a monster on the board. This here is how many Elder Signs you have to collectively have in order to defeat him. So you have to have total 14 for him. And this one is a special attack. If Azathoth awakens, the game is over and the investigators lose. The attack, the end is here, Azathoth destroys the world. So that's the information that you need to play the game. For him, to go against him. So we're going to put that over there. We're now going to look at some of the Mythos cards, because these are what also make the game work. This one says the stars align. Add a Doom token to the Doom track, and amidst the stillness, no lingering effects take place today. Sometimes there's lingering effects, like this one will say, when the clock next strikes midnight, a monster appears. So you basically are going to get a monster out automatically. When the clock next strikes midnight, all investigators lose 2 stamina. And this one also, instead of adding a Doom track, it says the monsters appear. So you're not always going to get Doom tokens added to the Doom track. You're going to get other things too as well. So it's also the luck of the cards. Then we have the starting location card. This is the main I believe the foyer or something. And this is where you can, the entrance, sorry, you can do things in here. This one says receive first aid. Choose one treatment from below. Heal 1 sanity or 1 stamina for free. Pay 2 trophies to heal either stamina or sanity to full, or you pay 4 trophies for full health and stamina. You also have the lost and found. Search by rolling a green die and consulting the following chart. Lose 1 sanity or stamina if you get a magnifying glass. A scroll, you gain 1 clue. A skull, you gain 1 common item, and then a terror, you gain 1 spell. So only 1 bad. And then here you can buy a souvenir. These are you can get the clue tokens, which are not that they're important, but not as important. What you really want are the Elder Signs, which there were 10 trophies. But you can get an ally. You can get for 5 trophies. You can get for 4 trophies. You can get 1 spell. 3 trophies, 1 unique item. 2 trophies, 1 common item, and 1 trophy for 1 clue, which is good if you're running out of clues. I mean, it's a good way to replenish them. But next, I will show you the common item deck, which is typical in Arkham Horror. You're going to have these. It's represented by the gun icon. And usually these things, like I said, this game is mostly adds dice. You know, this one gives you 1 yellow dice. This gives you 1 yellow, 1 red. This gives you 1 yellow. Some of them have other things they can do, like discard this card instead of losing 1 sanity. So they're not all the same kind of stuff, but they mostly all deal with dice. Then you get your allies, with a little person on it. This one says ignore the stamina cost on all tasks. Discard the card if the Ancient One awakens. So he's a good ally to have. Then you got your spells, which they basically do a range of things. Usually they'll let you save. This one particularly says discard to fully restore any investigator's sanity. But typically you're going to have these little icons down here, and these let you save dice when you roll a dice in your favor. So instead of giving it up, you can store it on here, a dice. So save it for a future task you may need to complete. So those are spells. And the unique items. And these are like the lamps of El Hazard or Hazard. It gives you 1 dice, 1 red dice, and this one discard after rolling to damage 1 to change 1 die to a result of a scroll, which can come in handy. Discard after rolling to defeat 1 monster, which is probably a good thing too. So they're all useful, just mostly like I said, this game goes around the dice, so which I'm going to get to in a minute here. Now, since we're getting ready to set up the game, the next important thing is going to be the locations. You're going to start with 6 randomly locations from here, and they will be the tasks that you have. So let's set that up, and we'll get through the game. I'll show you a quick run of play. Okay, so basically you're going to set everything up. So you're going to have 6 locations, and you're going to have to pick which one you want to. So basically for my starting, for Amanda Sharp, I've got her a spell and a unique item. So that's what I got for her. So you're going to draw the Mythos card. You're going to read what it says. This one says, add a Doom token to the Doom track unless at least 1 investigator has a spell. So lucky for us, we don't have a Doom tracker. So all the adventure cards gain the following terror effect today, replacing any terror effect they normally have. Discard all terror dice. So anytime you roll terror dice, when you fail a task, you're automatically going to be losing the terror dice. Because usually when you roll terror dice is when you fail a task, complete task, it'll have a certain thing on it. We'll probably do this one, since this one will be pretty cool to show you. This one, like I said, this one has It says hallways of fire. The flames engulfed the walls and seemed to jump with an animal intelligence from the curtains to the exhibits. Terror. Lose 1 stamina. So if you fail a task and one of your dice would happen to roll a terror result, which on the dice are those little symbols here, you're going to be losing 1 stamina. But on this, since the Mythophase card says it, if we get that result, you're going to be losing all those dice. You could be losing a lot of dice. So this is a pretty hard one to go after, but pretty easy. Because you need 1 skull, and you got to sacrifice 1 stamina for the first task. And the second task, I have to get 1 skull and lose 1 stamina. Now her stamina, for my character, is 5, so it's not too bad. And now this little symbol here means you have to go them in order. Usually you can pick and choose which one of these you want to do in the order. But since this demands I do this one first, then do the one on the bottom. But since they're identical, it really isn't going to matter. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to take 6 dice, which are the green ones. And since none of the cards have a lock symbol on it, which I could show you those in a little bit, especially if it comes up. If it doesn't come up, I will show you. But there are actually lock symbols on the adventure cards too, for example. This means that yellow dice is locked. So, but there isn't any on these 6. So I'm going to attempt to do this. So I'm going to take my character, which is the little square figure I had somewhere over here. Plop it on there. I roll these. You just roll 6 dice. I got 1 skull, and I lose 1 stamina. So goes bye bye. Now I can still. My turn is not over. Right now we're going to roll the remaining dice. And in this case, I didn't roll anything to do it, so I had to lose 1 dice. I didn't roll any terror dice as far as I could tell. If I did, I'm sorry. And now I've gotten my skull I needed. And I will sacrifice my 1 stamina. So what do I think of Elder Sign? I like Elder Sign. Elder Sign was a big hit with my group. We're a fan of Arkham Horror and the whole Cthulhu mythology. And this game, Elder Sign, was a much quicker paced, shorter, easy to get into game, unlike its counterpart, Arkham Horror. Arkham Horror is a much longer, and although enjoyable game, but it is really complex. And usually when people see Arkham Horror for the first time, they don't want to play it because it looks like it's overwhelming and it's just so much to take in. You can get the same feel and out of Elder Sign and get it done in a lot less time. It's kind of like a beer and pretzel game in a sense, but it still has the mythos. I can get Elder Sign out much more often. The Arkham Horror, I'm lucky to get that out maybe 2 times a year because it's a game that you really have to set your evening to, because you have to involve getting like all the stuff set up, deciding which expansions you're using, if anything, and make sure who you're playing with knows how to play the game. And you can still walk through helping people play Arkham Horror, but it's just, there's so much stuff, and usually your average gamer is going to be frightened away. Now, Elder Sign is a game that you could probably bring into with anyone that likes Yahtzee, people that enjoy those horror movies and stuff like that, and you could just they can easily pick it up and play it, and it's just really not much hard to explain. It's very cutthroat, straight to the point. You don't have to worry about not know what you're doing. You just say, hey, you can communicate with each other. Say, you might want to take on this card because you have a lot of dice you can use, and it requires a lot of high costs to complete it. So, and with that sense, you go a sense of urgency. So you basically all work together. There's just like Arkham Horror, and there's downtime is only when you're not. It's not your turn, but if you communicate with each other and you don't mind talking, there's really no downtime for us because it's really quick. You roll the dice until you can't roll them anymore, or you complete a task, and it's really a lot of fun. If you like dice games, you'll definitely like Elder Sign. If you're a fan of Arkham Horror, there's a really good chance you're going to love Elder Sign. It's just a much quicker game, and it's very friendly to new players. So it's not going to be like, oh, I got this game, and they all run away. It's like, this game is really good, and it's a, like I said, a very light game, but it's very enjoyable at the same time. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'll be more than happy to ask them. And until next time, have a great night.